There is going to be a lot of brilliant, smart, educated people that are going to miss the boat on Bitcoin. And the problem is going to be their ego. Their ego is going to be what gets in the way. Welcome to episode 40 of Stack Sats or Die Trying. This is the Bitcoin Only Show brought to you by the Hood. I'm your host as always. My name is Jimmy. Before we get started this time, do all the YouTubey stuff. Like, comment, share, subscribe, do all that stuff. In fact, if someone says, why are you sharing this with me? Say, I'm sharing it because of this brother that's actually doing this episode, right? There's a lot of people that talk about Bitcoin, but this guy right here.
Very smart man. Very smart man.
Now, that might be my ego talking, right? And that's what we're going to talk about today on this episode of Stack Sats or Die Trying, the Sean Kemp episode 40. We're going to talk about ego and why a lot of people will miss out on Bitcoin based upon nothing other than their ego, right? I did a short recently where I talked about people looking at what someone else paid for Bitcoin and using that as a reason why they won't buy Bitcoin now, because as I record this, we cracked 107,000. I know that's crazy to say. So people will look at the actual price and say, I'm not paying for it. But again, like I said in that video, it's really their ego. But I want to take a quick minute, and this will be a short episode, but I want to take a quick minute to really dig into what I mean by ego being the enemy. And by the way, there's a Ryan Holiday book called Ego is the Enemy, which is probably one of the best books I've read over the last 5 years. I'm a huge fan of Ryan Holiday and his work, specifically in the Stoic space that he does. But Ego is the Enemy is one that, to me is a classic because it gives the historical context and talks about how ego can get in the way and how a lot of people have suffered from a historical standpoint from their ego in terms of getting in the way. And as someone who, I do a little bit of work with academics, but I talk to academics often, pretty much, at least a couple of times a week. And I see how smart people are afraid to make certain decisions because of how they've been trained or how they've been taught. And when I think about Bitcoin, I think about all the people that are, quote unquote, smart folks who will miss the boat because the way they've been trained or what they've been taught in the university doesn't line up with Bitcoin, right? Even in the real estate space where I operate every day, I see people not able to make that connection. If you've been taught that an asset has to kick off cash flow and you value things based on, the current value of the future cash flow, then it's difficult to understand Bitcoin. First problem is you're trying to compare Bitcoin to a cash flowing asset. Bitcoin itself is a currency, right? Bitcoin is a currency. I see smart people who often ask me, well, it's non-productive. It doesn't kick off cash. And I'm like, Bitcoin is cash, right? So just the little nuance there, it makes me realize that a lot of people will miss out on Bitcoin and it's going to be unfortunate. And on the other side of that, there'll be a lot of people who, others will be jealous of them because they'll have the gains, they'll make the money because it doesn't take a full analysis or what some people do when they, what do you say, paralysis by analysis. So some people get that. They are able to take one narrative and just make a move, right? Action, taking action as opposed to wanting to sit back and continuously study. So I think it's important, and I'll say this every episode, the objective of Stack Sats or Die Trying isn't just for me to come here and pontificate about Bitcoin every week, although I will do that. And I enjoy doing that. And I love making the comparison between real estate and Bitcoin. That's my, that's what I love to do. But I think the point of this specific show is to get people to dig deeper, do a little bit more research, try and learn, pull back the layers, read. My brother Corey often says, like, when are you going to get serious about something, right? I'm not saying you have to get serious about Bitcoin, although I think most people should. But are you going to take it serious enough to do some studying, or are you just going to see some memes online and say, nah, I don't want to deal with that? Because as I often say, people get Bitcoin at the price they deserve, right? There are people now just getting into the space who are paying $107,000 who could have paid $5,000 because they knew a long time ago. But when they found out, they didn't do the research. They didn't do the knowledge.
Do the knowledge, nigga.
But I just think that it's important to really not let your ego get in the way. Do not let your ego be the reason you miss out on pretty much a revolution in currency, a global currency, something that is censorship resistant, something that has the power and the attributes that Bitcoin has. So I really just want to make this episode to talk about ego. Do not let the ego get in your way. Do not let ego be the enemy. You know what I'm saying? Don't be one of those people, man. And also, there's a couple other things I want to touch on real fast on this episode. Hey, yo, pause. That I want to touch on. Pause. While we're here on this episode 40. And, you know, just something else that I read on Reddit. I thought it was powerful and I think is worthy of talking about on this show, because sometimes people are looking for specifically within Bitcoin, like, well, what has anybody ever done with it? You haven't made any money until you sell. You know, I hear all the stuff, right? I hear all the things. But this is something I saw on Reddit. I thought it was powerful, so I will share. This is from Dr. Joe Crypto 007. He says, I paid off my house today by taking profit from selling a small percentage of my Bitcoin. Hey, everyone, just a note to help others know sometimes it is fine to pull some profit and pay off things. I am completely debt-free. Well, once the loan company does their end of the deal, I live debt-free except for my mortgage for a long time now. Purchased BTC in 2019 and DCA'd when I could. Small chunks here and big chunks there. I sold some of my profitable Bitcoin today. The proceeds were enough to send my loan company a final check to pay off my mortgage. That was $300,000. I am still in the BTC game and will be able to DCA further with the money I would have been putting towards my mortgage. Living lean helped me as well. I still don't own a car. Yes, I hear you. The cycle isn't over yet. Well, it never will be over. My mortgage, however, is over. Can't wait for the title and deed to show fully paid status. Now, I thought that was powerful, spelling errors aside, because I know somebody's going to read that on the screen and have something to say about the spelling errors, because, you know, people are a-holes. By people, I mean me, because I really didn't have to bring that up. But I know one of you saw it, and I knew one of you wanted to say something. So I figured out, you know, just beat you to it, right? So I thought that was a very powerful thing right there. Also, I know there are people who will make money from Bitcoin, getting back to the original point, that will piss people off because, you know, a lot of Bitcoiners like the memes. Memeing is a way to communicate within the Bitcoin space, right? So I saw this also on Twitter and thought it was funny. So I'm just going to share this right here so you can read it. You know what I'm saying? Main man said, yo, getting a chubby chick at the gym is like buying Bitcoin in 2009, man. Like, you know, if you can get that joke, you get it. But yeah, man, do not let ego get in the way of you learning to stack sats and becoming a person that stacks sats and builds wealth for your family. Because again, ego is the enemy, man. Ego is the enemy when it comes to Bitcoin. So don't concern yourself with what someone else paid. Get out of your own way. Start to stack sats. This is not investment advice. I'm telling you what I do. I stack sats daily. I stay out the way. I just want to read books. You know what I'm saying? I just want to stack sats. I just want to watch funny TV shows and mind my business, man. You know what I mean? Like, so, if anybody has any questions about this or any Bitcoin content, make sure to reach out, man. Also, Black Wealth Rebels, that is our Patreon. Buy the Hood in conjunction with the finance rebel Kamari Ellis has created, the Black Wealth Rebels. We are on YouTube live every Wednesday and Friday. We also do a Sunday class every Sunday where we talk about what we're doing in the upcoming week in the market. A couple episodes we actually put on our YouTube so far, so you can check out and see what that's like. But make sure you join our village. We have free tiers as well. Just go to blackwealthrebels.com and make sure to join our village. Our paid members, we appreciate you, and we will be giving you extra content, extra classes. If you're watching this on the Patreon, salute to you, because Stack Sats drops on the Patreon way before it drops on our YouTube channel, and that is appreciated. But this specific episode, I just wanted to make a quick message about not getting in your own way, not letting ego be the enemy, being someone that provides for you and your family moving forward, and just, stay out the way, stack sats, be humble, do all the things, man. Share, like, comment, subscribe. And as we always say, stack sats or die trying. Peace.